America Center here, but also for the Pulse, keep an eye on Caitlin Horde. 4 kills and 3 digs, 2 blocks on Thursday against Indy. As for Grand Rapids, one of the players that you definitely will want to keep an eye on is their setter, Sage Torres. She is one of the top setters in all of MLV and is a Longhorn legend, won a national championship with the University of Texas. It will be the Rise to set, or to serve first. Outside hit. And the Rise with the point as the ball goes out of bounds off the arm of Sofia Maldonado Diaz. This time Diaz with a little dink over the net for a point for the Pulse.
I love that decision from Valentin Anderson to go right back to Diaz. Diaz has been such a pivotal player for the Pulse and their success, so they're going to need to get her arm warmed up early.
Tied at 1. Hence with the set, and a little pushover that time from Snyder won't fall. In the net, point goes to Grand Rapids.
You'll see Valentin Anderson going up to the up ref here, just asking, did she go over the net? That was the initial call, was that in the set, the ball broke the plane of the net. She's a back row setter, and you can't do that.
Play is under review, and if it stands, the Rise will lead 2-1 here in the getting swept by the Indy Ignite on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Rise have lost 3 of 4, but their last match, they won in a sweep over Atlanta. Looks like the challenge for the Pulse is going to stand. Actually, will not. They will go with the original ruling, so it is 2-1 in favor of the Rise. Hence, set to the outside corner and a kill coming from Alexis Shelton.
And that's exactly how Hinch changes the game for this Grand Rapids Rise team. She doesn't just anchor them defensively, but putting in a great leave like that to the right side, making sure that she could get a hittable ball in, really changes the game.
Rise fight to keep it alive. Middle attack from the Pulse, and a point for Dallas as they were able to call on Collier.
This is a play that Pulse has been running a lot lately, is Collier coming out of the back row on that fast tempo big.
Nice dig from the back line. And another kill for the Pulse to even things at 3 in this set. Lane Van Buskirk with the point.
One thing that head coach Shannon Windsor said before the matches this weekend is that they want to get the middles involved a little bit more, and you can tell right now that when the pass is there, they're trying to force it.
Outside hit from Schneider, blocked. Tough defense at the net for Alexis Shelton.
And that'll be a point to the Pulse because Alexis Shelton did break the plane of the net. She reached over and took the ball from the Pulse side.
So the Pulse take their first lead of the first set at 4-3. Strong kill from the middle from Ramat Al-Hassan. That'll even things up at 4, and it will be Snyder on the serve. Trying to go with a little dink over from Van Buskirk, and it is blocked by the Rise.
With the one-on-one blocking opportunity, that is wide open for Lane Buskirk to just go up and rip at it.
5-4 Grand Rapids. Valentin Anderson with the set, and a block over for the Rise. Paige Briggs-Romine with the point.
This was a great blocking opportunity here for Romine. She had to go super big with her arms because she saw that the middle blocker wasn't quite closed. But she dove into Lane Buskirk's power.
Collier with the attack. It's defended. Anderson with the set. Now a kill from Romine as she continues her hot play in the first set.
That was a picture-perfect play from Bridge Romine. You could see that she came in the off blocker, took this dig, had a big transition back to give her a huge runway, was able to still find the split in between the post block.
Serve into the net for Schneider. First service error of the match, and that will send the ball back the Pulse's way. It will be Sofia Maldonado Diaz, the defending MLV Player of the Week, as you mentioned in the open, Alex, the first time that a member of the Pulse has earned that honor. Romine with an attack, it's knocked out of bounds, and another kill for Paige Briggs-Romine.
Briggs-Romine is making sure that she's staying available no matter where the pass is. She knows that she's going to be the first option, whether they're in system or out of system. She's handling that pressure really well.
She had a double-double in their last match against Atlanta with 13 kills and 12 digs. Service error for the Rise, and now the Pulse will take the serve back, trailing 8-6. And they return the favor, one right into the net for Lane Van Buskirk.
That's something that the Rise head coach, Kathy George, said that the team was going to be focusing on tonight, is making sure they keep the pressure on their serve to try to get this Dallas Pulse team out of system.
And Alexis Shelton with a service error. So both teams trading errors here in the early going.
With 4 of the last 5 points being service errors, I think both teams are trying to stay aggressive from behind the service line. There's a caveat to that. You got to make sure that a good mixture of them are in and aggressive. There's a way to be aggressive without error.
Snyder with the attack. That is a point for the Rise. Actually, that would be a point for the Pulse as it goes out of bounds. Dallas within 1. Maddie Anderson on the serve. Strong attack from Sofia Maldonado Diaz, and a point for the Pulse to tie things up.
Talk about a swing. That is Dallas's bread and butter right now, is that back row attack on the big. The tempo is perfect. You get lots of one-on-one opportunities, and with arms like they have on the Dallas Pulse, really they're taking great rips at it.
Romine answers on the other side for Grand Rapids, and Paige Briggs-Romine, the outside hitter from Western Kentucky, is off to a tremendous start. She will serve for the Rise, leading 10-9. But another service error. That will tie things at 10. Back and forth set here in the early part of this match. Mimi Collier. Rise have to scramble for that one. Snyder bumps it over. Strong hit by Cox, but blocked.
And that play all starts with Collier at the back. When you know that you're getting Morgan Hintz out of system, you know it's a good serve. That set them out to be out of system. They had to free ball over to the post, and then they had all 3 options ready to hit.
Snyder attempts the kill, but a block up front. Nicely done by the Pulse. Defensively, Caitlin Horde and Kaylee Cox. Rise out of system of Diaz. Bumps it over, a nice dig from Shelton. Play at the net. Anderson tries to sneak it over. Ball bounces on the net. Still alive in this rally. Anderson, soft one from Cox. And Snyder prepares. Now she tries to bump it over for the point. And successful for Snyder. What a rally there between these two clubs.
Talk about a crazy rally. Not only was it long, that's what we call a little bit of patty cake when you see the back and forth on the net play. And the best thing that you can do in that situation is play the long game. Both teams are getting fatigued, they're tiring out. So you just got to stay clean for as long as possible.
Serve from Meyer. Anderson sets it up, and a point to the Pulse. Nicely done by Caitlin Horde.
You can see that the Pulse definitely are trying to get the middles more involved early, which is only going to free up the outsides and the pins at the beginning of this match.
Horde with the serve. Middle attack, Al Hassan blocked. And Dallas with the point as they take that one and lead 14-11.
You could see the way that Dallas was communicating after that point, that ball that the middle took was actually into the net. They did not have a touch on the block, which means that there was 4 touches for the Grand Rapids Rise.
Shelton. All out. And a point for the Pulse as Shelton sends her attack out of bounds.
Shelton has stepped into the right side after 2 injuries for the Grand Rapids Rise, so she still is trying to get comfortable over there. It's a little bit different than on the outside, where on the right side you have to make sure that the ball totally crosses over that right shoulder and you have to have a little bit more patience.
Snyder blocked. She'll attack again, and this time defended by Dallas. Had to survive that attack from Snyder. Pulse with another point. Now on a little bit of a run as they lead 16-11, and we're back in a moment on Victory Plus. It's Rise. Back row attack from Romine, and successful as the Rise end that 4-0 run.
And that's exactly what you can expect from the Rise right now. They're going to be looking for Briggs Romine. They know that she knows how to hold it down in high-pressure situations and also get those quick kills.
Sage Torres, SKT to serve for the Rise. Last game, her 5th double-double of the season, 34 assists and 11 digs against Atlanta. Anderson sets up Collier, and a putback by Cox.
We talked about earlier how Shelton is one of those who's newly on the right side. Well, Cox is exactly in the same position. They were looking for someone who could point score a little bit more on the right side, and she was the girl up next and has been doing a fantastic job of that.
Snyder. Knocked to the middle of the net, and a fight for it there. Rally with the Pulse. Able to send it over for a point. Sophia Maldonado-Diaz.
And that all starts with a great up by Kylie Murr. She made sure that she was standing right behind that block just in case they were going to tip it over. And then Maldonado-Diaz could just go up off top of the block and hit over.
6-point lead for the Pulse. Shelton blocked. Torres to set it up. And this time Shelton successful.
Talked about a little bit earlier how Shelton has moved over to that right side, but right there you saw where her bread and butter was formally before making that move. It's on the outside. You saw how comfortable she looked over there, how she was just ready on the tempo and was able to get high elevation.
Snyder with the serve, and Van Bursken with the point. Van Busker with another point for her in this first set. She's been active.
So active, and she's so good at that slide ball. Her and Valentine Anderson really have worked out that fast tempo to make sure that she can beat the block and find some splits.
Diaz with the serve. Goes out of bounds. Rise will take the point. Pulse leading 19-14 in the first set. Al Hassan will do the serving honors. Anderson with a quick shuffle over the net for a Dallas point.
It's not very often that we get to see Valentine Anderson kind of take that second ball over approach because she has such great pins, such great offensive options, but when she does so, she does it in a smart way where you can see it come out with a kill there.
And the Pulse lead again by 6, 20-14. Caroline Muth with the serve. into the net service error. 5-point advantage now for the Bulls.
That's definitely going to be a focus for both teams going into the match as we get into that second, third, and potentially fourth and fifth sets, is cleaning up behind the service line.
Substitutions for the Rise as Morgan Hintz is back in. Valentine Anderson with a set to Diaz. That goes out. Rise trying to rally as they trail by 4. Cameron Turner to serve, and one of those nasty service errors pops up again for the Rise.
And that'll be the 5th service error for the Rise. And when you're down by 5 points, you're definitely kicking yourself, just hoping that maybe 2 or 3 more of those would have gone in and gave you the opportunity to gain some of that momentum.
Valentine Anderson on the serve, 11-year pro. Former member of the Puerto Rican national team. Romine earns a point for the Rise.
Grace Romine has such good range. We've seen her with the 2x2 and the sharp cross just then a second ago on the line. She really has a high game IQ to see what the block in front of her is giving, and she goes around it.
Valentine Anderson. Collier with the send-over. Hintz. Now Collier with a kill.
And that is exactly why Collier was our player to watch for the match for the Pulse. She has such a strong arm. Where she really thrives is her efficiency. As an outside in college, she was hitting over 300, which is almost unheard of.
Collier with the serve. Dallas with the defense and a kill from the middle. Excellent job by Caitlin Horde.
That is one of the most complete plays that I've seen from the Pulse so far today. I mean, it is a textbook play. Perfect pass, go to the middle hits in the seam towards her power, able to get that quick kill.
Collier in the net. Rise will take a point, trailing by 5, 23-18 in the first set. Dallas 7-4. They trail the Indy Ignite, as everyone does. The Ignite with a league best 10-3 record. Valentine Anderson to Diaz. It's blocked. Dallas survives, bumps it over with Cox. Big kill from Al Hassan as Grand Rapids tries to force their way back in this first set. Addie Bray with the serve. Diaz. Kill for the Pulse. Sophia Maldonado Diaz, who had a season high 30 kills against Omaha on the 12th, making her presence known in this first set, and now it's set point.
That's where Maldonado Diaz is so good. It's finding those high hands. She has such a high elevation that she's able to catch a lot of fingertips and get a tool outside of the court.
I was saying a little bit of moisture on their side of the court. Take a moment to clean that up. It will be Caitlin Horde to serve for the first set. Romine. Cox. Well defended. Snyder. Snyder able to keep the Rise alive.
Snyder getting a big volume of the ball tonight with already 10 attempts, but not quite being able to get the kills that she wants. That's just her second kill of the night, hitting 0.
Valentine Anderson to Diaz, and that closes it out for the first set. Sophia Maldonado Diaz with Pulse will serve to start set number 2. Snyder with a strong attack to get things started on the right foot for Grand Rapids.
Snyder is one of those outside hitters that the Rise is definitely looking forward to setting in this match. Now, she didn't have the first set that she wanted to, hitting 0, only having 2 kills, but I can imagine that they're going to try to get her warmed up a little bit more and get her to be that hot hand in no time.
SKT with a service error. Caitlin Horde will serve for Dallas, tied at 1 in set number 2. And a strong attack from the opposite side for Kendea Alonso-Corsellas.
That ball is so hard to get. It's in between 2 defenders, middle back and right back. It looked like a little bit of a communication error between the poles.
Collier, mighty swing, but defended by the Rise. Collier comes at him again. Another defense. Snyder will bump it over. Valentine Anderson setting up Van Buskirk. Big attack, partially blocked by Diaz, and now Diaz will try to dink it over for the point. Successful for the Dallas Pulse.
Diaz is such a great all-around player. We saw that play happen because of her. She was able to get a great positive touch on top of that block, transition back to give her team enough time to make sure that she had that huge runway. She kept that elbow high until the last second, and she dropped it and just tipped it right over the block.
Big swing. Alonso-Corsellas. Actually, that was Romine. That would be another kill for her. Point to the Rise as the ball hit the net and went out of bounds. Taking a moment to wipe up some moisture on the court. And it will be Ramat Al-Hassan to serve for the Rise. Anderson on the set, and Collier with the kill.
That set is absolutely money. Collier is using all of her power with making sure she has that huge runway. She starts from behind the 3-meter line, but finishes right in front of it, really making it seem like a front row attack.
And a service ace for Maldonado Diaz as the Pulse tie things up at 4. That is the 12th ace of the season for Diaz. Romine. Collier. And Snyder. Snyder finishes the point with a vicious swing.
Snyder already doubling her kills that she had in the first set, just within the first few points. Like I said, they're going to keep setting her until they can get her to be that hot hand, because she really is a pivotal and a crucial part of their offense.
Serve goes out. Point to the Pulse. And again, we are tied at 5. Torres with the set and the attack defended, and a bump over for a point for Dallas.
That's exactly what you want to see in elite middle, someone that keeps their eyes on the ball. Caitlin Horde was able to see that that was either going to be an overpass or she was going to have to joust it. Why not just go over the block and throw it to that deep corner? Great job by Horde.
Another service error. That has been the Achilles heel for these two teams so far. First match plagued, or first set plagued by service errors, and the second set got a few as well. Romine with the serve. Anderson to set up Collier. Well done by Romine with the dig. Diaz changed hands, but it was able to send it over. And now a block from the middle. Collier, and a point for the Pulse.
Collier and Horde know they had to end it there because we had Diaz who was just backpedaling the whole time. She was able to recover that little misconnection between the setter and that back row attack that she went up to. But Horde and Mimi Collier had her covered in the front.
Great 1-2 punch there from Horde and Collier. Torres with the set, and the attack is defended as Cox will arm it up, and hers is blocked as well. Snyder. Collier. And a kill for Mimi Collier.
What a save by Valentine Anderson. I mean, she was basically on her knees when she was able to get that set up, just making sure that she was running towards the net, but didn't want to get, you know, that shoulder into the net because she had so much force going that direction. Really high-level play by Valentine Anderson.
And Valentine Anderson with the serve. Horde keeps it alive. Collier. Nice dig by Romine. Bulls playing good defense. Collier lines it up, and another kill.
That's where Collier is so good. She's so good out of system. Typically, you would not see an outside hitter that hits at her hitting efficiency clip, but it's so good because she's ready at all times, no matter if we're in system, out of system. She's always looking for those high hands.
Mimi Collier led the team coming into the match today with 168 kills. She is adding to her total exponentially in this match today. Valentine Anderson to serve. Snyder finds a sweet spot. And a kill for Carly Schneider.
You talked about Achilles heel. That's also been one of the Pulse's Achilles heel right now, is that seam between the right back and the middle back, just the crossing patterns between the two. There's been a lot of balls that have fallen there tonight.
Pulse lead by 2, 9-7, and make it 10-7 as another service error for Grand Rapids. That was Meyer, the 6'3" middle, who played at Duke and Kentucky in her college years. Collier with the serve. And a great opposite attack that time for Alonzo Corsellas as she gives the point to the Rise. (11-7). The Pulse lead in set number 2. They lead 1-0 overall in the match. And together, Wren Athletics and Major League Volleyball have a focus that extends beyond the game. We're growing the sport of volleyball, building community around the sport, and empowering our world-class female athletes with top-tier resources. Wren Athletics, the largest volleyball-only apparel company in the United States, is the official uniform and apparel partner of Major League Volleyball. From custom-designed player uniforms, stylish off-court apparel, and an array of fan gear, Wren Athletics is the driving force behind it all. Fans here at the Comerica Center trying to urge the Pulse on as they have a lead here in set number 2, looking to add to it. Off the serve of Mimi Collier. Cox with the attack and a point for Dallas.
Cox really has been a big reason that the Dallas Pulse have been so successful in the last few weeks. She is the biggest change that they've made, and she's been able to point score so well on the right side.
Collier is served out of bounds. And that will allow the Rise to take serve, trailing by 4, 12-8. Sage Torres with the serve. Maldonado Diaz saw push over for a point.
We have this thing in volleyball where it's repeat what works, and Maldonado Diaz has definitely found what works for her, which is tipping right over that block. Yes, she has a strong arm. Yes, she can hit off and tool it, but why not get the quick kill by going right over to the empty hole on the Rise?
Coach called her an under-the-radar weapon, and that time it was an under-the-radar point for Sofia Maldonado Diaz, but Grand Rapids answers on the next point. Carly Snyder to serve. Vicious serve from Snyder, but well defended by Kelsey Payne.
And you could see everybody high-fiving Kylie Murr because, yes, Snyder put in just a great top spin serve, but she was able to take it like a champ. She held her platform out and got a perfect pass for Valentina Anderson.
Yes, credit to Murr. Anderson to set up Maldonado Diaz. Soft touch. Block at the net. And into the net for Grand Rapids. A point to Dallas.
When we talked to head coach Shannon Windsor of the Pulse, she said one thing that they want to focus on this season is not getting too high after matches and not getting too low. If you win a good match, good. If you lose a bad match, you're on to the next one. And I think she's done a great job, and the team have done a great job with that. Because after they dropped that last match against Ignite, it really seems like they've turned a corner and are firing on all cylinders.
Alonzo Corseas with the kill for the Rise. Second round pick, 11th overall. Has not played a ton this year, but did play one set against Dallas back on February 8th. Now getting another chance. Torres to set up the kill from Leah Meyer.
Meyer did a great job of transitioning on that play. She got the positive block touch from Van Buskirk on that slide. Was able to transition back and make sure that she had a quick 1-2. Got up.
Van Buskirk. Meyer with the attack and the point for Grand Rapids.
And she does it again. Now, she's not getting all the way back to the 3-meter line, but that's exactly what you would expect from a middle who's going from pin to pin blocking. She makes sure that she's still positioned behind the setter here, giving her enough space to get a full arm swing in.
3-point advantage for the Pulse here in set number 2. Valentine Anderson. Buskirk with a quick pop over for the point. Pulse took the first set, 25-20. Torres. A swing by Romine, defended. Collier's swing is dug out by Hintz. Here comes Collier again, blocked at the net. Point to the Dallas Pulse.
In college volleyball, they always say hit high and hard, and that's exactly what Collier does. She has such a fast and strong arm swing.
Sophia Maldonado Diaz with the serve. Cox will set up Collier. Romine with the defense, and now attack on the other end. And Dallas cannot answer as the point goes to Grand Rapids.
Briggs Romine is doing an absolute great job right now. She's hitting .417. That was her 7th kill of the match.
Candela Alonzo Corseas will serve for Grand Rapids. Diaz with the attack and a point for Dallas. What a kill from Sophia Maldonado Diaz.
That is such a dangerous play for opposing teams because you have Collier on the outside, you have Maldonado Diaz in the middle as a middle blocker on the opposing team. You cannot dedicate. You have to make sure you stay there in base and then release once the set is made.
It was 8 kills for Diaz, but a serve into the net will give the ball back to Grand Rapids, trailing 18-14 here in the second set. Anderson sets it up for Caitlin Horde, and she delivers.
Horde having herself a night as well. That is her 6th attempt, but that's her 5th kill. She's hitting over 800, no errors. Basically, every time the ball is in her hands, it's going to be something good.
At a season-high 6 points on Thursday against Indy. Back line kill for Carly Snyder. Leah Meyer will do the serving for the Rise as they still trail by 4 points. Collier, strong hit and a point for the Pulse to get to 20.
The ball is out of system. Collier does such a great job of waiting on it. You can see her transitioning back far enough and then taking her time to go attack that ball and not wait for the ball to come back down.
Torres with a set and a strong kill from Ellison. It goes over for a point for the Rise. Torres will serve. Diaz. Ball popped high on the defense. Snyder. Oh, well played by the Rise. The defense went way up in the air. They had to kind of improvise there, but did a nice job of recovering.
You could see that leave from Briggs Romine just outside. It was basically all across the court. Her getting the well-deserved love from her teammates after that point.
Valentine Anderson Collier coming from the middle, and there is no defense for that. The deflection out of bounds, and Dallas with the point.
The power from Mimi Collier is absolutely insane. It seems like Valentine Anderson and Collier are getting better and better with each set and more comfortable with each other in their first season together.
Caroline Youth serving for the Pulse, leading 21-17. And another service error, as that will give the Pulse 8 for the afternoon. Pulse with 8 and the Rise with 7, so 15 total service errors so far in the match. Kaylee Cox just outside. As you take a look at it, out by inches, and that's a point to the Rise. Trail 21-19 here in set number 2. Timeout called by the Pulse. So Alex, so far, Dallas has done a nice job of just staying ahead of Grand Rapids, answering any potential rallies. And when you're on your home court, that's something that's very important to do.
100%, and I've seen head coach Shannon Windsor do this time after time when she just needs her team to reset. One thing about taking that time out is you're trying to ice out the opposing team's server, and it works. So right now, I think that is it. She's giving her team the adjustments that they need to make, and then also just a little breather, trying to make sure that the Grand Rapids Rise are not getting into that red zone too early. Dallas Pulse in the red zone, so the red zone is any point after 20. Dallas Pulse has already made it there, but you want to keep the other team out of the red zone for as long as you can.
Pulse doing a nice job when they have the opportunity. 44% hitting this afternoon. Rise with a point there. To make it a 1-point set, 21-20, Dallas on top. Romine able to get the point for the Rise, and now it's tied in the second set at 21.
Briggs Romine just going up with full confidence. That set brought her really tight to the net. She had 4 hands in front of her, but you used her strength and her power to get through that one.
Collier, soft touch. Romine tries to usher one across, defended by Dallas. And Sofia Maldonado Diaz tries to put one in the corner, but it goes out of bounds. And now the Rise with a lead here in set number 2.
Position time after time has taken care of it.
Set 2 tied at 22. Al Hassan with a kill from the middle. Now the Rise back on top.
Alazan does a great job of making sure that she's staying available and staying an option. Now, she did get a little tight to the setter on that last play, but the speed allowed her to catch the Pulse off guard.
Hattie Bray will serve for the Rise. with the dig, and now Diaz with the punch over for a point. Sophia Maldonado Diaz, such a intelligent player. She's got power like you mentioned earlier, but she also knows when not to use it.
She has such a high IQ. This is something that you see in beach volleyball. It's actually called a pokey. It's where you go up with your two knuckles and just shove it into the deep corner. You saw that from Maldonado Diaz on that last play.
Now she will serve with set number 2 tied at 23. Ball barely ekes over the net and turns into a kill or a point for Dallas.
That's just the second error that we've seen from Briggs Romine all match. So uncharacteristic, but comes at a great time for the Dallas Pulse.
Set point. Cox with the dig. Collier tries to hammer it home, but well defended. Now Dallas trying to keep it alive. Collier bumps it over. Romine blocked. Romine again. A block again, but this time out of bounds. And it will be a point for Grand Rapids as they tie set 2 at 24.
That's exactly what we're going to expect from the Rise right now, is to go to Briggs Romine. She's hitting 375. That's her 9th kill of the match. She really is holding them down offensively, so they're going to try to keep her in the front row and load her up.
Valentine Anderson. Collier. Great dig by Hintz. Blocked over by the middle for Dallas. Collier and Van Buskirk. And it's 25-24, and again, Dallas sitting on set point.
I have been so impressed by Dallas's block today. They're making sure that it's well-formed, it's closed. They're pressing just at the right time. And if it's not a stuffed block, they're getting tons of positive block touches.
Jelly Sear to serve for the Pulse. Point to Grand Rapids as they stay alive in set 2. Paige Briggs Romine. Valentine Anderson, Collier. Snyder with the hit, out of bounds. And for the 3rd time in set 2, the Pulse have set point.
This is exactly what the Pulse wants. They have Briggs Romine in the back row. Now, yes, they do have to keep an eye out for her on the bit coming out of middle back, but they can know that she's not on that outside anymore, getting a big volume of the sets.
Snyder. Good dig by Diaz. Collier. And Collier puts it across. No.
They're looking around. Something was flying up in the air. I don't know if it's a Band-Aid or a nail, but it's something.
That is point to Dallas, and that is the Sage Torres will serve to start the 3rd set for Grand Rapids. Tough block for Rabat Al-Hassan to start things off for Grand Rapids with a point.
That's one player who's also had a great match. Now, she hasn't had a huge volume of sets, but when she does, she's trying to make sure that she keeps her space from the setter and is getting a good swing. I don't think we've seen her tip at all tonight.
Torres with a good serve, and the Pulse can't handle it as the Rise take a 2-0 lead.
That's such a great float serve. As you can see, that ball had 0 spin on it. That means when it's coming towards your platform, you're going to have so much movement. But you could see Sofia Maldonado Diaz struggling with it.
But Sofia Maldonado Diaz not struggling there, as a kill from the corner gives Dallas their first point of the set.
I love her confidence to be able to do that after you just got aced, to be able to get that big transition back and take a full swing on it. It's something that it takes a high IQ pro to do.
Al-Hassan with the attack, defended by the Pulse, and Diaz with another kill for the Pulse to tie things up at 2.
And when I say she has a high IQ, that's exactly what I mean there. In the last play that she saw that she had a huge split. In this one, she had 4 huge hands in front of her. What does she do? She goes for the cross-court attack in the 2x2.
12 kills in the match for Sofia Maldonado Diaz. Cox. Dug out by Snyder. Shelton punch it over. And unable to catch up to it, Diaz, as it goes to the Rise for a point.
Shelton, that really is her bread and butter. She is an outside formerly before a couple of injuries on the Rise, now moving over to the right side. She's so good on that outside pin.
Teen Anderson with the set. Cox with the attack. It's defended. Hence, will send it over. Cox again, this time deflected out of bounds. A kill for Kaylee Cox.
We saw there Hens tried to get Pulse that sky ball. That's a super high free ball that makes them kind of have enough time to worry about where it's going to go, but that didn't get Dallas Pulse out of system at all, being able to go right back to Cox.
Shelton bumps it over. Collier. And Collier with her 9th kill.
Collier will continue to have a great match. When I say she is so good back row, we would expect that out of an outside, but not at the volume that she does it. She truly is one of their offensive options when she's back there, not just a throwaway set.
Romine. Defended by Cox. Diaz blocked. And Van Buskirk is blocked. And that is some strong play in the middle from Ramon Alison, the 6'4". middle blocker.
Allison did her thing on that block. I mean, when I say that's a textbook play, it really is. She dove into Van Buskirk's power, which was going towards the setter. She had huge hands and really dominated that one-on-one block.
Romine has to send it over from out of bounds. Collier lines up for the middle attack. It's blocked. Diaz with another kill.
They look for Maldonado Diaz at almost every play, and there's a reason why. They know 100% that she's going to have a big transition back, and she's going to be ready for whatever comes her way, whether it's in system or out of system.
Sofia Maldonado Diaz, the reigning player of the week in Major League Volleyball, showing you why with her performance today. Torres will set it up for Meyer. Meyer takes advantage.
That was such a quick set to Meyer, especially doing the 1 foot behind the setter. That's something that's going to be so hard to defend for the Dallas Pulse as they try to close the gap between the outside blocker and the middle block.
And Buskirk. Romine able to earn a point for the Rise. That defense off of the Buskirk attack was very good from Grand Rapids. Will be Alexis Shelton to serve for the Rise as they lead 6-5 in set 3. Collier, no doubt about that one. Morgan Hintz couldn't even dig that one out as Collier came strong.
At this level, you don't see a lot of clean kills without any fingertips on them at all. But Mimi Collier seems to find them quite often.
Cox will set up Collier, and indefensible.
Collier doesn't need that clean shot, though. She can go off top of the finger. She can hit high and hard through the block. Like you can see here, she's looking to see what's given in front of her. She saw 4 hands, 2 blockers, nice and close, so she just went on the outside hand of the middle.
Romine. She has been the most consistent player for the Rise this afternoon. Earns another point here.
And that'll be a double-double for her. 10 kills, 12 digs. She really is impacting the floor both offensively and defensively throughout this match.
Paige Briggs Romine will serve for Grand Rapids as it's tied at 7. Sofia Maldonado Diaz. Need we say more? Another vicious kill.
Is there anything that she can't do? Now, earlier in this match, we saw that she was actually coming out of middle back. But now you can see that she's coming out of that right side to get that attack.
Natty Valentina Anderson with the serve. Torres sets up for Snyder. Pulse trying to keep it alive. Hintz. Now Snyder will soft push it over. Stays alive. Collier. Strong hit. Hintz to set up. Snyder blocked, but out of bounds, and a point to Grand Rapids.
Just the vision of Hint on that last ball is so high level. At this point where it's been such a back and forth game, you don't want to let any easy balls go. And she followed that ball right to the last second where it hit outside that line.
Meyer on the serve. Cox has it blocked, but it goes out of bounds. That will be a kill for Kaylee Cox. As the Bulls take a 9-8 lead in set 3.
That'll be her 6th kill of the match. She really is starting to come alive on the right side, and she's also adding so much value in the back row on defense.
Amy Collier with the serve. Collier to set up Kaylee Cox. Hintz. Murr. Cox blocked, but out of bounds, and again she earns a kill.
Cox just being able to find so many tools off that block, and one of the reasons is the angle that she's taking. You can see her shoulders are turned inside of the court. She's trying to attack that cross court, the middle blocker, whose hands aren't quite positioned in time to get that stuff.
Collier with the service error. SKT with the serve for the Rise. Diaz with another kill for Dallas.
Diaz is one of those hitters that is so frustrating for opposing teams because she has that range. She's able to hit the cut, the cross court, the 2x2 off the top of the hands and down the line. You really have to just stay in your base and make a play based off of what she gives.
2-point lead in set 3 for the Pulse. Tremendous dig from Romine. Cox. Now Snyder will try to hammer it down. And she is able to do it for the Rise. Boy, what great defense from the Rise on that point.
Between Briggs, Romine, and Morgan Hintz, they really are all over that backcourt.
That last play under review right now. The Pulse with a 1-point lead in set number 3.
Challenging floor touch.
Dallas is challenging floor touch. Pulse trying to close it out here in set number 3 and earn a sweep over the Grand Rapids Rise.
Each team gets one challenge. If you win your challenge, you get to keep it. Pulse knows that they can't take it home with them, so why not use it if you have any questions?
Next home game for the Pulse will be Friday, February 27th by head coach Shannon Windsor. And it's a 3-point lead for Dallas. Rise take a point back. Al Hassan with the point for the Rise, and 12-10 the new score here in the third set. Great dig by Murray. Sent out of bounds, and it's point to Grand Rapids.
This is a great play by the Pulse. It just seemed like maybe the set was a little bit low for Van Buskirk with her not being able to get on top of it.
Hintz with a touch, but knocks it out of bounds, and a point goes to Van Buskirk and the Pulse, who lead 13-11.
And what do you do if you're Valentine Anderson, who's so competitive? You go right back to her to make things right. Get it a little bit higher, and Van Buskirk's able to get that kill.
Shelton sends it over. Diaz with the swing. Now Romine. And Romine able to get the point off a kill for Grand Rapids. It's 13-12.
Such a great play by the Grand Rapids, almost a trick play. You could see that the middle was going back. She pulled that middle block a little bit, so Van Buskirk was late, allowing the split, and Briggs Romine being able to get the kill.
Torres with the set, Snyder. Point to Grand Rapids as the Collier kill attempt goes out of bounds.
And honestly, that's one you just got to take because that's the first error by Collier all night out of 30 attempts. How insane is that?
Set tied at 13. Diaz earns another kill. There has been no stopping Sofia Maldonado Diaz this afternoon.
She really is so great at tooling the block on that one. Now, the blockers weren't in a terrible position. Just unfortunate that the ball went into the antenna after they touched it. Therefore, post point.
14 kills on the day for Sofia Maldonado Diaz. Collier tries to dink it over. Romine has it blocked back into play, and a point for the Pulse.
Valentine Anderson most certainly excited about that one, with her being the shortest one in the front line by far right now. Everyone's going to overlook her as a blocker, but as long as she goes low over the net and has strong hands, she can get stuff blocks like we saw there.
Good swing by Meyer as she earns a kill for Grand Rapids, and the Rise stay within 1 point at 15-14 here in the third set. It will be Alexis Shelton to serve. Service error for the Rise, and 16-14 now as the Pulse have the lead. The Pulse have been first to 16 in each set. Will they be able to close inside the Comerica Center? The Dallas Pulse trying to earn a clean sweep of the Grand Rapids Rise this afternoon, leading 16-14. Rise take that point, however.
Such a great dump by the setter there. I mean, she didn't show it until the last second, and it's not often that we see a dump where you throw it behind your head so tight on the net. We usually see the dumps that are either a full swing or to the middle of the court, so great play by the Rise.
Collier. Serve goes long, and the set is tied at 16. Two teams met earlier this month, back on February 8th, with Dallas taking the victory. Trying to make it 2-0 against the Rise this season. But the Rise not going away quietly. They lead 17-16 here in the third set. There's a timeout on the court, and that gives us a chance to tell you about Wren Athletics and Major League Volleyball. They have a focus that extends beyond the game, growing the sport of volleyball, building community around the sport, and empowering our world-class female athletes with top-tier resources. Wren Athletics, the largest volleyball-only apparel company in the United States, is the official uniform and apparel partner of Major League Volleyball. From custom-designed player uniforms, stylish off-court apparel, and an array of fan gear, Wren Athletics is the driving force behind it all. Grand Rapids trying to stay alive here in set number 3. The 17-16 lead. Diaz, the dig from Romine, and a point to the Pulse.
Such a hard ball to try to dig out of the net. Definitely was because of such a strong swing from Maldonado Diaz.
Valentine Anderson will serve. play at the net. Now Meyer. And it's point to Grand Rapids. Two teams battling back and forth here in set number 3. The Rise take an 18-17 advantage. Collier. A vicious kill from Mimi Collier.
Another one of those clean looks, and one of the reasons is because Valentina Anderson is really fastening the tempo on those sets. She's not allowing the middle blocker to get close, which is giving Mimi Collier a one-on-one opportunity, and then she just takes it away.
Collier will serve. Snyder tries to touch it over, and it's blocked. Cox and Horde combining.
One of the most dominant blocks that we've seen this match. You can see Horde using her eyes to see that elbow drop. She waits a little bit and then is able to press on that tip that was coming her way.
And another timeout on the court as Dallas has taken a 19-18 advantage here in set number 3. Sofia Maldonado Diaz continues her hot play. 16 kills so far in the match today. As you look at what Dallas did against Indy on Thursday night, Alex, they struggled in set number 1 and 2, but then really had a chance in set number 3, just couldn't quite get over the hump against the Ignite. But I have a feeling that was something that was talked about, before this match, and they're going to try to finish strong here.
100%. I think that's a learning piece that you get from losing matches. You try to not make the same error twice. They've definitely taken that into this match in the first and second set that we've seen so far. Is at the end of each set, they're trying to close it out. They're staying aggressive. They're minimizing their errors, and they're hoping that they can do the same in the third to close the match.
Service error for the Pulse. Ties it up at 19. Collier with a redeeming kill on the next point to make it 20-19. The Pulse on top.
And that's what we call adding value. Before this point, she did make that service error, but she went back there. She said, hey, I can add value right here on this BIC and I can get a kill.
Ince with a diving dig. Block of the net from Cox. And it's a point to Dallas as they lead 21-19.
And then that last play is what we call a trap set. It's one that is literally almost in the hands of the opposing blockers. There's nothing that you can do with that other than try to press into them and swipe outside the court.
Shelton keeping things alive for Grand Rapids.
Both teams in the red zone now, with it, which is any point from 20 to 25. Just trying to make sure that they minimize their errors, but stay aggressive. You cannot get timid at this level.
Diaz. And sends it high, and Romine trying to earn a point. She does for Grand Rapids. Paige Briggs Romine has been outstanding this afternoon for the Rise. Double-double. 13 kills, 13 digs. Substitution for the Rise, and Alyssa Jensen, a 6'4" middle blocker from Michigan State, will enter the match. Romine. Maldonado Diaz. Snyder. Blocked back. And a point for the Pulse. Van Buskirk standing strong in the middle as Dallas tries to continue to put the foot on the gas against Grand Rapids.
That was great awareness by the Pulse. They realized that Snyder was the only option there. You had Briggs Romine on the outside who just took that off blocker dig opportunity. She was still on the ground, so it either had to go to the right side, an out-of-system opportunity, which wasn't going to be great, or they were going to have to go to Snyder on the big. They had that triple block set up. Really a perfect play by the Pulse.
And another point for Dallas off the serve. And Grand Rapids will call a timeout, trailing 23-21 in set number 3. Dallas just 2 points away from a 3-0 sweep. Alex, as you look at what Dallas has to do to close this one out, where have you seen their strengths this afternoon, and what are they going to try to do to earn these final 2 points?
Right now, the first thing they have to do is put in an aggressive serve. They know that the Rise has Briggs Romine on the outside, and they're going to try to feed her, especially when they need a point right now. So if I was the Dallas Pulse, I might even have my middle just do a small dedication step to that outside to make sure that they have a nice form blocked against Romine.
Kaylee Cox will serve. They do try to set up Briggs Romine. Push over by Van Buskirk.
Another great play by the Dallas Pulse. They realized that it was an out-of-system opportunity, and the only person they could set is Romine. Now, that doesn't mean anything because Romine has a great arm, but they had 4 hands in front of her, and the defense was so well set up behind it.
Kaylee Cox will serve for the match. Hence, Shelton. And Shelton able to keep things alive for Grand Rapids.
Great swing by Shelton just to realize that the block was set up inside, so she had the line of fire right there and completely open to her.
Match point again for Dallas. Alyssa Jensen to serve. Point, Grand Rapids as the slam from Van Buskirk goes out of bounds.
Now what we've seen before is Valentine Anderson go right back to her on the slide.
Timeout as the Pulse want to set themselves up for another match point here, leading 24-23. Dallas took the first 2 sets, 25-20 and 27-25. They are looking for their 8th win of the season.
What the Dallas Pulse can't do right now is get tip happy. They can't just put anything over. The Rise have done a great job in this match of picking up a lot of those balls into the middle of the court or right over the block. Dallas has the arms to swing away and get that kill.
It will be Jensen to serve. Valentine Anderson on the set. Diaz. Point to the Pulse. And Dallas takes it 3-0.